Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our very first webinar series. We're super excited to have you here with us. My name is Marianne, and I am super thrilled to be hosting this event. One of you join us today on this section. This is not just a webinar, it's for us, it's a journey. It's a journey into the future of lending, and more particularly, we say that you need to get comfortable, invite your friends, your colleagues, and member of your community to join the seminar section because we promise that it's going to be very impactful and also insightful as we have our amazing speaker in the studio today. More particularly, I'm so excited to be inviting my co-host who is going to be anchoring the section with me, the amazing Kumilade Sanda. Hello, Kumi, and welcome.
Hi, Marianne. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this insightful webinar. Thank you so much. Over to you, Marianne.
Yeah, welcome, Kumi. More particularly, before we begin the section, I just want to ask, Kumi, what do you most look forward to today in today's webinar? What do you look forward to?
Okay, so I think basically for me, what I'm basically looking forward to is to first of all learning from Okwe, who is a subject matter expert in this particular field, right? Learning some of the innovations and some of the trends that we should watch as regarding lending in this current time in Nigeria. But also, I mean, before I do that, I think we should also do an introduction of what Vintage Q is as an organization itself. Take a moment to introduce ourselves as an exciting player in the world of fintech that is also shaping the future of lending. Now, Vint as an organization is a dynamic technology company. And we've been making significant strides in the financial industry since our inception in March 2021. Our mission is very clear, and our mission is to embed credit into different ecosystems, right? Seamlessly integrating credit solutions into various ecosystems. But again, that's not just all. In a short time frame, Vind has also achieved a remarkable milestone, right? One of our most impressive statistics that sort of sets us apart is that we've been able to disburse over $27 million on behalf of financial institution. Vintage Q, our core mission is to democratize access to credit, right, by providing innovative and user-friendly tools to financial institutions. And by also doing that, we're also shaping the future of lending and also revolutionizing the way we think about financial services in Nigeria, right? What sets us apart definitely today is how we are, transforming that that rapid transformation when it comes to embedded finance, and we are definitely taking the forefront. We're definitely taking the forefront with that. We're really thrilled to have you on board. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kumi. Thank you so much for that insightful perspective. Yeah, I do say that we are super dread at Vint to ensure that the vision to provide accessible credit, more particularly all of the star players we need to get involved we are very committed to weed out is profile. All right, so we have Opeoluwa Dehinbo, who is a dynamic business executive with core competence and substantial experience in marketing analysis. He has over 15 years of experience in business with core skills in African markets, financial services, and business development. He has over these years held leadership roles across the financial industry, ranging from digital innovations to e-channel creation in business and management in several African leading companies such as Standard Chartered Banks, Enterprise Banks, Heritage Banks, PayOne, PaySwitch, and iTex International. It's my pleasure to introduce Opeoluwa Dehinbo. Hi, Opeoluwa. Welcome.
Having me on the show. Hello, Kumi.
Hi, Opeoluwa. Thanks for joining. We're so super excited to have you join us here today, more particularly because we are super excited to get into the future of lending. I mean, a lot of people, we need to literally break down this idea to people so they understand what lending is all about. And then, more particularly, because we have a lot of our lenders joining us here today, we also want to be able to showcase what the trend is for lending. What's the future of lending? What does it hold for us? So I'm just going to give you the floor and let you go straight right into it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for having me. I would like to put up my slides so that everybody can see what we're talking about. If that can be projected, just a minute, please. Hi, Marian. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. The events we'll be talking about the future of lending, innovations, and trends to watch, in this space. So I'll be having a deep dive into what I'll be talking about, which is on the next slide. I'll be talking about what is actually lending itself and what is the age of lending. Can you change the slide to the next one, please? Okay, so we'll be talking about what is lending actually. I mean, we all hear that word lending, borrowing, and things like that. So there is actually a relationship between the two words, borrowing and lending. So then we'll talk about the age of lending and lending as it is. I mean, when I say as it is, we're talking about before now and the present day lending. Then, of course, we'll now go into the future of lending, which will now look at the trends emerging, in the industry today. So that takes us to the next slide, where we'll be looking at what is learning actually. So from my own put together from my head, I see it as an act where two parties, two entities have an agreement to decide to exchange value at some certain conditions or terms, which is agreed by the two parties. So now in this case, the person releasing the value is seen as the lender, where the person receiving the value is seen as the borrower. That's the receiving party. So in this case, a relationship has been defined or established between the two parties. So now at some certain conditions, because of course, if I'm a lender and I'm giving out some value out to someone, it has to be an agreed terms and conditions, which would be documented, which makes it legal. In case of any default in future, so that the borrower would not come to say that no, nothing like that existed. So if this has been documented, then it becomes legal binding between the two parties. So this takes us to what actually is the age of lending. If you look at it, I put it there very, very summarily to say as far back as olden days. As far back as days of the old. We're talking about maybe before Christ, after Christ, when we were not even formed yet. So, those days will be more like of a barter. I don't know if anybody remembers the Macbeth, pound of flesh, things like that. So lending has been happening way, way back, and it has transitioned into the present day way of doing it now. So that takes us to lending as it is. We'll look at the before and after. Or if you see on the screen right now, we have before and we have today. Now, loan origination, loan processing, eligibility checks, loan approval, disbursement, all this before now were done manually. Human intervention, paperwork, and all that. The normal traditional bank, commercial bank, you see moving from one desk to another, it takes days and forever for one loan request to culminate into disbursement, if at all it becomes positive. But then, if we look at it, the time consumed from one process, one point of the within the process to another, another, till the final level. It's actually a waste of time. At the end of the day, you might now even find the request, the borrower eligible to become an actual borrower. And at the end of the day, maybe days, weeks would have been expended. So that's really pure waste of time. But then those were the I would say the approaches or the way lending was then. I mean, so manual and archaic, human intervention and all that. So, but today, the loan origination, processing, eligibility checks, approval, disbursement, all are being automated with, using different kind of technology. Most times now, you have to be API driven. You come up with your own app, you plug into a third party to fetch some data, you plug to another one to fetch some, form of data that will drive your process and makes it efficient, for end users to make use of. And today you talk about verification of address. You have an API for that. You talk about verification of ID, government approved ID. You have API that will respond to that. So most importantly, where the data is even being hosted, because when we go into data mining, this is actually what drives it. Because without data today, all these apps, applications probably will just be redundant because they need to fetch so as to give an output. So that takes us to the next slide, which will now okay, I haven't dissected before and today. Now we need to look at the future of lending. What is it tending towards? And for us to look at this, we first of all we need to have some things behind our minds. The rationale that would drive the thinking, the trends that we'll be seeing. Now you were talking about improvement on business performance. You need to take the business from one level to another, so that your books can be in a more positive, side of it. And reason for this is you have KPIs and all that. You need to sell loans. You need to do this and all that. And you have targets. So you need to increase your business performance. That's just one thing that should be on the front burner within somebody's mind. And of course, look at efficiency of whatever your system is presenting to the end users. How efficient is it? How fast and all that? Looking at this application processing, loan application processing. How fast is it? Is this something you submit your details and you still have in between in human intervention where somebody is to approve, or everything has been synchronized through the technology that write a program to look at this person has submitted some KYC data, and let's check the credit standing of the person from credit bureau, and from them let there be an AI or an algorithm that will make a loan decision for this request. And of course, when all of these related angles are being automated, you find the whole system efficient, because you are plugged into different API that will fetch you what you want at different levels. So of course, the interesting thing is even the front end, where you have a user experience. If the UI or the UX is actually not very inviting and interesting for the end users, these are the borrowers that go to different platforms, but they don't find it very interactive. You need to upload so many things, or you need to move from one level, and the whole thing is not straight through, and it's not very short. The faster the system is, the shorter the UI UX experience, user experience is. You have more referral running towards your own platform. You have the numbers there and all. That's it. That's just the way I see all of this. So all this point I've listed out here are things that we should have, or their rationale for even like, let's look at lending in the future. What should we expect? What should we be seeing? Or what are the things that are coming, emerging at the moment? So that takes us to the next slide. So we dissect the points being raised in the next slide. So now today we see that most times when we talk about loan, everybody is talking about cash-based loan. Lending has evolved beyond cash-based loan. We talk about financing items like asset financing. I mean, of course, it's a lending thing as well. You want to buy car, you want to buy TV, you know, phone devices, pay for a particular service like Ikeja Electric, the discos, I mean, Eco Electric, Benin Electric, you can actually pay for services which will be financed by a financial institution, and you pay back at your own convenience. I mean, over a period of agreed time. So, for me, you will see banks now like, okay, to stay in the business and be competitive, you need to go beyond. I mean, this traditional cash base that everybody is now looking up. So today, you talk about overdraft. I mean, people just like, okay, let's do it for a short period of days, and I return it back. But then the core business now is tending towards financing different I call it generally asset acquisition and service and debt servicing kind of. So for me, this is one of the trends happening here now in the financial institution in Nigeria now, and of course the fintech is also becoming very competitive in this space where they partner with a financial institution, maybe some MFBs or commercial banks, to be the ones financing. They have the application, but then they will be the one financing because they are deposit banks. They are licensed to collect funds and all that. But then the fintechs probably work on wallets. But then if you have to do settlement and all that, you need a financial institution, which is a bank, to drive this up at the back of it. So the next one we see is interest, emphasis on interest, because short-term loans seems to be more expensive than when you have a tenured loan. So these days you see that, okay, somebody needs 100,000, rather than say payday loan at say 20%, for example. I mean, you can still get that same 100,000 for maybe 3 4 months at a lower interest rate, which would even be more convenient. So you see that people would tend towards more to that of the tenured loan than that of the payday loan as it is now. So if you look at the statistics right now, it's actually coming down. If you look at the relationship between the two, you see that payday loan is not as high as that of the tenured loan now, because the ease or the convenience of repayment at a lower interest rate for tenured loan is more advantage than that of the payday loan. So now, the beautiful thing, the next one that I'm going to talk about is the blockchain technology. This is, in fact, I'll say the main thing that probably all lenders should start looking out for. I mean, they should start thinking towards it. Go back to your innovation desk and let's look at how blockchain technology is going to affect the business, the lending business. Of course, is actually a technology that is reshaping the lending ecosystem by allowing lender and borrower, of course, to establish a direct deal through decentralized financing. And what this means is that, for example, you put your KYC of your customer, on a blockchain technology is available for different people to access to. There's transparency. I mean, very secured and all that, because of course there will be some level of encryption. And this is actually the next big thing. And when it comes to global financial system, so this blockchain technology goes beyond. In fact, I would say the main thing is it makes data available for all lenders. I mean, you as one of the say members of the ecosystem in that technology, you register what you have, insurance, your property, everything. So decision making will be so fast. I mean, like a peer-to-peer thing. This decision making thing will be faster than what we have in today's technology, as shown earlier. So then another trend to look out for is actually having to be monitoring loans, bringing artificial intelligence into the system, whereby if you haven't granted a loan, then the AI start monitoring, I mean, the spending, the lifestyle, everything about that borrower, and which, if found a bit disturbing, the AI will be able to trigger or notify the lender that, oh, maybe you should have a one-on-one. I mean, you can, talk to whoever you have granted loan that, okay, can we restructure your loan? What are you going through? I've seen on what is being pasted now. It could actually watch macroeconomic trends and monitor individual borrowers' finances, now alerting the lender when a loan might be headed for trouble. So to avoid or to avert that trouble, you probably, this very part of it, this AI would, make the lender to be at alert. And of course, the lender can take a decision to, like, okay, let me go and have a discussion with this borrower, be it an individual or a retail business or high level business. So for me, the future of lending is each on two particular things I've shown here: the blockchain technology, and of course having robots to start monitoring loans. That's the AI part of it. So I think this, I don't know, for all that I've said now, if I mean that talks more about future of lending. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Okwe. That was really insightful. Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
also, right, so just to also comment, I mean, I loved what you talked about. We talked about the lending operation, right, the automation and all. And it also just wanted to also note that Vind HQ as an organization also helps financial institutions to also automate their lending process end to end. So from origination, just like how you highlighted, from origination to disbursement and to also recovery, right? So those are
Yeah.
part of the things that Vintage Key also helps financial institutions to do. But also, before we move on, I would like to take a moment to address some questions from our audience. Please feel free to submit your questions in the chat, whether you're joining us from LinkedIn, from YouTube, or Facebook, and we will definitely do our best to answer them. So, okay, I have some questions of my own. I was taking some notes while you were presenting, right? You talked, about technology and also innovation too. I mean, I would just really like you to maybe point out some real world example as to how artificial intelligence and also machine learning has impacted the industry and also how it's currently being used right now in lending today.
Oh, okay. So today we have different applications, different companies trying out applications to monitor lending. For example, if you permit me, I can mention at least for one, Lend I know I've interacted with Lend before, and their application can actually do, this artificial intelligence, try to help you to do the right scoring, monitor, even before the loan is granted. You can look at the lifestyle, the spending, where the person spends the most. I mean, what the person spends most on, and things like that. So, many companies, fintech, I would say, probably have come up with different applications. I mean, helping the lenders to be able to stay safe, within the industry. Because I mean, if you look at the default rate now, when you lend out money, it's on the increase. But then with this, the advent of all these monitoring, applications, this AI thing, I believe that it will, bring down the numbers of default rate in the industry.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Okwe. Please don't forget, you can drop your questions in the chat. You can drop your questions whether you're joining us on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook, and we'll definitely do our best to also answer them. So, Okwe, I also want us to touch a little bit about balancing innovation with protecting customer data and also security. I mean, how do you think financial institutions can sort of put that balance between protecting customers' data and also ensuring maximum security of their data?
Okay, so when we talk about customer data protection, I think thankfully we have it regulated. I mean, you need to be I would call it a certification to say you are well secured. your infrastructure is well secured to protect customer data. So then, beyond that, you have what CBN I've actually put in place, that most times when the customer is providing data, there has to be a consent given. If you look at it today now, the BVN before now, anybody could just fetch out some BVN using some API, but now they've changed it to I agree. I agree with that word corner makes sense. I agree. The customer has to consent to that, or you want to fetch my details on the BVN platform and all that. So all of these have been put together, have been regulated by the regulator. So for me, on the government side, that has been taken care of. Then now on the player side, we need to have a robust infrastructure where you put in all necessary security algorithms to checkmate whatever it is, any external external ghost would want to do into your system while you're sleeping. So we need to take very, very seriously. That's customer data protection. We really need to take it very, very seriously. So for everybody in the lending system, I will only advise that, I mean, even if you are depending on a third party to help drive your system, you should also have some, start investing in your own your infrastructure. I mean, whatever you have control over, I mean, it's yours. You can always make it better. But then, because time to market, you need to make use of other parties to drive your business. Of course, if something happens, you know that becomes your headache. So for me, I believe in investing in your own infrastructure and bringing as much of security applications just to guard customer data. And of course, anything you're doing, always get the consent of your customer to avoid any litigation in future.
All right, thank you so much, Ogwe. Thank you so much for that insightful response. So
You're welcome.
also, I mean, talking about customer experience too, right? Because I also know you also mentioned, around innovating around customer experience. So, I mean, I would just like to ask, I mean, in this digital age right now, how are financial institutions enhancing customer experience to make borrowing more convenient and also very transparent?
All right, good. Thank you for asking that question. Before now, if you look at, you go to a typical bank in Nigeria, meet their customer service and all that. I want to do updates. I want to open account. I want to do that. The first thing they give you form to fill, and giving out form to fill doesn't mean that it's going to be treated immediately, because these are human needs. So they pile it up at their own convenience. They get to do it. I can remember when I was in Standard Chartered. Yeah, I had to manage some level of IT infrastructure for the customer service, and I saw that overwhelming you know um, in what they do. So let's look at it. You have 1,000 or 500 customers coming, in a day, and maybe in every hour you have about 50. You are not a robot. You are not a machine. So there will be some lag. In that customer experience. So the way and the best way to improve customer experience is to bring in technology into the financial space. So, which may not necessarily take away the jobs of some people because it's a threat to the human jobs. But then, for you to serve your customers and bring in some level of referral increase in the financial space. If you look at the likes of Kuda, look, Opay, you think it's a bullish approach in what they are doing, but I mean, these have been strategically thought about, and trying to say, okay, look at Money Point. You want to open a business account, you don't need to go to CAC to go and do that. That's I mean, ingenious. Thinking of outside the box to say, well, instead of giving me your CAC everything document, just give me maybe business name and all that. Later, you can do an update. Of course, maybe you have a threshold put on your transaction. So, but at least to bring you into the space, they're telling you don't have to go and sleep, at the CAC before you become my customer. Let me do this for you. I'll take you up later. Yes, you have won that customer. Rather than I have to wait for CAC, a lawyer has to help me to file in, and my team and all those things. Those will take time because there are steps being laid down to acquire those things. But then, if someone has come out of a very good innovation, I mean, bringing a very good innovation to say, okay, you don't have to give me this first. I'll open an account for you. I mean, within the regulated space, I'll open an account for you. Then later, that's what we do, information updates. So you can do an information update, to present all of this. So technology is the main thing. Now, technology is skilled. So you start from one level and of skill to the next level, to the next level, till you get there. Because technology is expensive. Let's be frank, it's expensive. That's why you see most lenders would want to do like a shared service with other with a particular base application provider, and that application provider will be the hub for these lenders plugging into their system at the same time. But then they still need to invest in their own technology to stand alone, so they eat better. But if they are in a hub, it has to be shared. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ofoe. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. That was that was really educative and also insightful. I mean, it's also worthy to know that also Vind as an organization also, right, we also take innovation very seriously, right? It's how we've been able to also empower a lot of financial institutions, right?
Mm.
How we've also made most especially the loan origination process very seamless, right? Just like what you rightly said, right? The traditional banks, you want to get a simple loan, even as much as a payday loan, see that the customer experience is not as smooth, or maybe you have to go to the bank, submit a lot of forms, but making that loan origination process very easy, right? Embedding that credit into different ecosystem in such a way that people can just access credit from, let's say, from their ride hailing platform and all, right? That's definitely one of the ways to go, definitely. Okay, so I mean, you also talked about blockchain, right? I saw when you were talking about blockchain, you were really blushing about it, right? So, I mean, I'd just like to really understand also. I mean, um, how is blockchain influencing lending practices? And I mean, in this climb in Nigeria, what regulatory challenge do you think that blockchain technology poses to lending?
Okay, so when it comes to blockchain technology, most people think about cryptocurrency, selling, or a P2P thing. That topic, or that word, is very robust. I mean, you need to take your time to understand how the ecosystem of blockchain technology works. I mean, what it does, how it's been applied to lending today. So for me, I see blockchain providing the, how do I put it, the transparency that is required, which is in form of data, and of course the security behind it is one of the things that would always give a lender that rest of mind to say, okay, yeah, I'm comfortable with this data being available or provided, then I can go out and make some decision making in a very fast pace. So, and then of course make the loan available to the borrower, or reject it and notify the borrower reason for rejection. So, for me, blockchain is the way to go, but then it's a very robust technology, which I wouldn't advise that everybody rushes into, but then takes time to study and bring in the subject matter expert to dissect and see how they can plug in, and of course reach out to more people and billing loans to them. So that's what I'll say.
All right, thank you so much, Okwe. I mean, also, I would also like you to also talk about your organization, yourself, what you guys also do, probably the products that you guys also offer. I mean, that would also help.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Actually, work with Cash Connect Microfinance Bank is actually a digital microfinance bank. I call it a fintech bank. Yeah, so the head business and banking operations as, I mean, of course, equivalent to chief operating officer. So we're in a business of banking, I would say. So services like account opening, once account is open, you can do so many things like the value-added services, make payments across different billers like electricity, DSTV, airtime, any other thing, data bundle that you can say you want to make payment, for. And of course, we do the transfer services. Yes, that's our core, which we do. So For the license that we have as a microfinance bank, of course, our main business is to lend out, funds, to different ecosystems. So we have different ecosystems that we are servicing today. The salaried earners, I mean, the market people, the school ecosystem, even as far as going to the religious entities, those are the people we service today. And of course, we also give software application as a service. We give application as a service, where we power, services like payout, like transfer services. We render our virtual account services, for people that wants to give their end user an account, for collection. So we do that, those services. So that's what we do in a nutshell. And of course, when we talk about lending, like I said earlier, it's not really cash-based lending all the time. So for today, we have partnership with Airtel, where we're financing devices, phone devices, for different ecosystems that are found eligible. Now it's either you have your phone only acquired, or you have a phone with a new postpaid line with Airtel, or a phone with an existing prepaid line which will be converted to a postpaid. So we've done this with several commercial banks at no headache. So, and it's moving fine. And of course, it's something we can extend to people on this view, and of course to Ven HQ. I'm just marketing my own side of it. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Okwe. Thank you so much. It has been really insightful and also educative having you here. This is the end of the Q&A session. I don't know if Marian has more questions. Over to you, Marian.
Hi, Kumi. Yeah, definitely. It has really been an insightful section. I think that's all the questions we have from the audience today. But more particularly, I think it makes a lot of sense that we are very curious about the landscape and try as much as possible to ensure that we have more sections. And I think this is the purpose of Lendflex. So we get the words out about lending and majorly how people can get active and involved in it. Thank you so much, Opeoluwa Dehinbo. As we come to a close, I think it's more particularly important to say a big thank you to you for sharing your expertise with us. We really appreciate you being on this section today, and we say a very big thank you for joining. More particularly, we want to say a big thank you to our partners, advisors, and of course the amazing lenders we have on the platform who helps to keep the vision of accessible credit alive. We say a big thank you for all you do, and also for helping us ensure that we are able to drive credit to every part of Nigeria, and then there are every part of Nigeria, and also multiple borrowers get to access loan easily via the platform. We also want to thank you for joining us, every one of you. All of you are so wonderful and amazing. Thank you for joining us. More particularly, we want to say that the vision to drive credit, we all are pioneers of this, and we all have a part to play in this. So stay curious, stay innovative, and ensure that you follow us on our Lendflex. So follow us on all our social media platforms so you can stay updated on our next webinar section, which is going to be a very impactful section. We're going to be diving deep into more topics as it relates with lending. Thank you so much for joining. We want to say a big thank you, and of course, goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, Kumi.